Right, good evening, just stand by. Lip sync. Okay, good evening and welcome to the Amateur TV net. I'm Neil VK3BCU, and we hold the net every Tuesday night at 8 PM, and you can watch the net through VK3RTV using a set-top box, and they're readily available on eBay or AliExpress for around the $50 mark. Or if you're lucky, you may find a TV set that natively will tune the repeater. You just need a tuner or a set-top box that you can dial in 445 decimal 5 directly. So then you can watch the repeater with a vertically polarised UHF antenna. So first up this evening we're going to have Peter, VK3BFG on RTV1, so get ready to switch across to Peter very shortly. Peter will be putting it across to Richard, VK3VRS, and Richard then will be putting it across to Steve, VK3TTF, and then Steve, if you could put it back to me. So I haven't been doing too much during the week, just a few tests on 5.7, which is fairly interesting as a base station. It's not easy. So Peter, if you're ready, I can see your splash screen is up, so please everyone switch across to RTV 1 right now, so take it away, Peter.
Yeah, thanks Neil. Yep, looks like we've got audio running there, okay. I'm Peter, VK3BFG in Wanturna South. Probably everyone knows that. By the way, tomorrow there is a severe weather warning out. I had a look at the Tullamarine, I'll just turn that off. Yeah. The Tullamarine forecast, and yeah, there's some fairly hefty gusts predicted there. So some of you won't be able to do too much about it, but a few of us have got towers. Well, I've got mine down right now, so ready for that. It's not due until tomorrow afternoon, so there's no great rush for that if you've got to do something about your antennas. We'll have a new splash screen up shortly. Dennis sent me one just the other day. I won't be going up tomorrow probably because I think the weather's going to be pretty bad. But maybe Friday afternoon we might be able to get that done. And I intend to just notch the power up a little bit. I was up there the other day at RTV and the power is down a little bit. So we'll just notch the drive up a little bit, and that'll be good for everyone. Well, as I've been talking about recently, the new proposed WA band plan is out now for comment, and you can download it from the WA website, the Technical Advisory Committee section of it. And there's various sections with comments asked for in terms of what's being proposed there. I've talked about the 6 metre band previously, and that's certainly one of interest. The 52 to 52.5 meg band, it's all modes, meaning any digital mode really, but for ATV it will be restricted to 333 kilocycles per second, so fairly narrow one. I was just thinking about that as an idea, an input to the repeater on 52 megs would bring some attention to the to that particular segment of the band, and narrowband stuff's always interesting and it's a lot easier to do in terms of power handling, which is really what we want. We want to do activities that are very low in power where we can. So yeah, I'll just contemplate naval about that, and happy to get any feedback from you if you think that's a good idea to have a 52 meg receiver up there, and it would probably have to have run a port snout or something like that, because I don't think even the hides doesn't go down that far. I don't think it might. Anyway, it's just I've just been brainstorming that, and just as an idea, because that band is there open for comment right now. And there are some people that are opposed to that for various reasons, but I'm certainly not one of those. You tune around 6 metres, and for the most part there's no one there, so I don't think there's too much credence for arguments against getting some activity on it. In terms of the other bands other than 23 centimetres, it's pretty much the same. 13 centimetres has 4 digital allocations with a maximum of 5 megasymbols per sec, or 2 FM, which is slotted over the top of those, of course. Then we go to 9 centimetres, there's 3 digital channels there. We go to 6 centimetres, there's 5 digital or 2 FM, and the FM's imposed on those digital ones as well. And then we go to 3 centimetres, and there's 8 DVB or 4 FM. So there's plenty of room there for some more experimentation. Probably most of that point to point. I'm not sure how we'd be able to achieve ATV on those frequencies at a repeater site, but it might be possible. It's worth thinking about, I guess. So there are the things that are there. I'd just like to read a couple of excerpts from the consultation paper, etc. Everyone is encouraged to use the minimum transmitter power to achieve a reliable link. And should note the withdrawal of explicit ATV activity segments above 1260 in this new plan. So the 2 suggested ATV frequencies are 1245 and 1253 megahertz. Now, for RTV point of view, I don't think we could have, say, the west on 1245 and the east on 1253, because I would think that there would be a fair amount of descents there. There's not enough separation. Matter of fact, I did an experiment. I just dropped down to 1245 and transmitted, and it went through the 1246 and system quite okay. And similarly with 1253, my 1255 went through there, and the 1253 went through there. And I asked others to experiment, and Simon's come back with similar results on DVBS, but DVB-T is particularly sensitive to shifts. And looking at the science there, it basically says that DVBS, according to Simon, and I'm sure he's right, can tolerate shifts up to a megahertz where DVB-T can't. So I can't see that we could operate the repeater on those 2 frequencies. So I'm suggesting we continue as we are, because it does say here point-to-point ATV repeater uplinks for individual operators can still be supported, but the use of directional antennas is encouraged, and of course we use super directional antennas, so from that point of view we're okay. It does say ATV activity should concentrate on frequencies initially below 1258. So look, we'll just, I think we've been transmitting on 1278 for quite some time, and it's always been stations in the west being east, and there's not much problem there. The other way around would possibly be problematical if if satellite stuff was installed at Tullamarine or something like that. So I'm just thinking that 1278 beaming to the east is not going to be too much trouble. So we'll just leave it like that for the moment and see what happens. Anyway, it's a discussion paper out for now, and people can respond to it. And in fact, they're asking for responses to it specifically. So there we are. Not unexpected, of course. We've been aware of all of this for quite some time. Anyway, I've been busy today. Phil has decided that he's going to run the BATC streamers for our TV from his place, which I think is a good idea. We've got a hostile environment in the kind of places that we run the repeaters, so to have that running at his place is a good idea. So I've programmed up 2 Hello Box 8s that I had here, and also a little key circuit which I'll show you. So just stand by. It'll be a little bit of shaky cam, and we'll have a look at it. It's right down here. There we are. I'll just come in on it a bit. You can see the standard Hello Box, and what this is here, I've just picked off a signal which comes up on this on the brown wire here from one of the readouts on the front panel, and what I observed there was that the data stream was higher with a signal present and lower without a signal present. So the little pickaxe micro here is it's a little bit out of focus, isn't it? Now I'm looking at it. So good. Come back a bit. Why are you not focusing? That's terrible. Yes, I know why. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. Anyway, you can see the little board here and the little pickaxe, and it's simply looking at the counts, and if the count goes high, well, it puts a high on this pin here, which Phil will use as a key output. So it's simply a very, very cheap key. We've got a little 3-volt regulator there. We've got a FET switch there, a resistor and diode and a little pickaxe, and it's just a very cheap key circuit using the really good subroutines that are in available pickaxe. If you look at that, you'll see that there's some really good stuff, and pulse in is one. So you don't have to worry about writing all huge lines of C. Okay, if you like it, but I don't. So happy with using simple things like that. Anyway, that's about it from me for tonight. So Richard, if you'd like to run up shortly, it will be over to you.
There we go. Nice smooth transition. Well, sorry Peter, I absolutely wiped out your signal. But don't know how I did that. I haven't got very many watts. But anyway, actually don't even have watts, I have milliwatts. Very interesting about the frequency changes and all that. Interesting to see how 6 meters would go. That would be interesting for sure. I've only just set up a 6 metre vertical antenna. I thought that was pretty brave of me, getting down that low. Not usually down that low. So anyway, food for thought for experimentation later, possibly. Talking about all that sort of stuff, I've sort of been trying to dig through some files and stuff, and I found some videos that I've done. I basically just grabbed these bits together and stitched them together, rendered it, and got it ready just before the before the broadcast. So hopefully, I haven't even really checked it. I've just rendered it and then I've put it on. So hopefully it's okay. I suppose we're going to find out. Hopefully it's got audio too. I didn't even check that. So anyway, this is a little bit of work I did quite some time ago. And I forgot about it. So enjoy this. We'll see how we go. So here's the Kenwood 2000 apart. That's where the fan goes. So this is the original fan, which goes in there. So you can see it mounts in there. So that's it there. Here's the new fan. In here. So you can see it's quite a bit bigger, but because they've got all that space there, the fan actually fits. So I have done a test fit. So next step is to change that. So we have to take that plug off and put it onto the new fan. So we'll do that next. You'll see that there's this tiny little black piece here, which I had to clip out so I could pull the wires out to come down here. Otherwise, it wouldn't sit flush because the wires were actually hitting on that bit of metal there. So we'll continue on. More video when I'm finished. Got to just now put the screws in place, which is as simple as this. So yeah, so a bit hard to do one-handed. So I'll get it happening, and then oh, there you go. There's one. So you can see where it's going to go. So I had to buy these extra long screws from JCar. So that's them there. So hopefully that's in focus for you. So that's what I bought, and that should do the job. As you can see, no problems at all. Alright, I'll continue with that shortly. There it is, there's the fan in. Got to remember to make sure that I reconnect that. Very important. So let's not forget to connect that. And you can see here I've plugged in the fan. The lead's running around there. So it's a lot shorter than the original, so that shouldn't be a problem. So now I've just basically got to put it back together. Start by putting the speaker in place. So the speaker will go there, and then I'll start putting everything back in. Alright, so that's it for now. I will come back when it's all ready to power up. I'll put a few covers on, and then I'll power it up and make sure that everything's good before I put all the final covers on. I think that might be the smart thing to do. Make sure that it doesn't hit anything. Alright, that'll do for now. Rightio. So, see, I've got the power in, and I have not powered it up yet, so we're going to see if we get smoke. And let's have a listen. Wow. Well, you can see it has definitely powered up, and I cannot hear that fan running. Can't even see if it is actually running. Bit hard to tell. Actually, it is. I can hear it. Very, very quietly. But it is definitely running. We can hear a slight woo. I'm not sure if the microphone is picking that up. But there you go. Mod done. Very easy. Now to put the rest of the radio back together, like that plate and the top cover. There's the old fan. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that, but I'm sure I'll find it. There's the old fan out of the 5100. Sits under there now, quiet as a mouse. So now, got to rectify the fan in the two power supplies. So that'll be another mission. I'll have to pull them apart and have a look what fan they are and measure them up and then get them sorted. I'm liking this. So the 7100 and the 9700 and the 7300 don't have the fan noise problem, so I'm very, very happy. Be interesting to see when I put it all back together and I transmit and I hear if there's any fan noise. But happy with that for now, so all good.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3RTV Channel 1.
And there we go. I've just realised how many times I say so, especially when I stitch a couple of different segments together. So that was a fan upgrade. If anyone's interested, that's the Noctua brand of fans, and been around a long time for PC based stuff, and very well renowned for being very super quiet and lasting forever because the ball bearings that they use and the blade design and everything makes them very, very quiet and efficient. So thought I'd try. There we go again. I thought I would try and see how it went in the Kenwood and my 5100, and it did work beautifully. Still haven't done that power supply, by the way. That just reminded me to do the power supplies, although I have got a different setup that I'm planning on doing, which will eliminate the power supplies anyway. So I'm setting up a battery system outside with solar panel on the roof, which is charging. That's a project in the works at the moment. Yeah, big heavy DC cables though, so to account for voltage drop, and also being able to supply plenty of current. So yeah, Clint also does the WIA news on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. and then repeats it again at 8 p.m. at night. So you always count on that 98% of the time. Occasionally he has a Friday night off if it's some sort of thing going on, like a long weekend or something. Sometimes he doesn't do it. But yeah, 98% of the time, Clint's always there. Anyway, that's it for me. So I believe I'm handing over to Steve, and I know Steve has got some very interesting things. But before I do, just a hello to everybody there on YouTube. We've got 14 viewing YouTube at the moment, and we have 3 on Discord. So hope everybody's enjoying it, and we'll see you next week. And take it away, Steve, after my test pattern.
Hello all. That cutover between us doesn't work very well. We might have to have a play with that just to see how it goes. I've got to wait for your signal to completely drop for about 30 seconds, I think, before I start transmitting. I think that's just the way it is still, though. So, I'm Stephen, VK3RTV. Been transmitting amateur TV since March now. So what are we, 6 months or so? 6-7 months. But this month I've got a project. I think I showed you a bit of a preview of it last week, so I'm going to continue on that with that one. And I actually received on my antenna an adapter, so that's all good. But just to follow on from Richard's post, the ID 5100 fan upgrade, I've actually fully documented a whole process on how to do that. So if anyone does want to do that, head over to my blog, blog.hardtechnology.net. Also linked many times on our Discord. So just have a look at that one. It's got all the details if you want to do that mod. I know a lot of people have those 5100s out there, and it makes it much quieter. I do not hear the fan noise anymore compared to before. Particularly transmitting up on high, like 50 watts, it does make a lot of noise for quite a while before it decides to cool down. So first thing, I'll do the little antenna bit. So I showed you this antenna last week, and I'll see I don't have my little shaky cam on, but it just had the UHF SO259. I've now got this adapter, so it's just a F59 screw terminal. So that, I know there's an impedance mismatch, but it's only a receive. So hopefully that doesn't cause a problem. But yes, so my current antenna is one of the JCar UHF antennas, which I've already got the RG6 coax running to. So that should be just an easy swap over on the roof to try that one. So that's all good. Next one, so ATV receiver. So yes, I showed you a few pictures last week starting to cut some holes and things like that. I'm going back one step this week, and I'll actually show you a block diagram of what I was trying to build and some finished photos, a little video too coming up. So I'll just flick over to that. And audio still on? Yes, good. So this is a block diagram. So what I wanted to do in that one enclosure, have a couple of receivers, one for each RTV1 and RTV2. This gets rid of all the cables on my desk. So basically what you can see here was strewn across my desk for a year since I started receiving ATV. So now this is all in a 1U enclosure. So two V7 Pro GT Media set-top boxes, HDMI splitters with HDMI output on the front and the back. I've also included a little, I bought a couple of little streamers off AliExpress, and they do actually just do a SRT and everything. They do the push and the listen, RTSP, RTMP. They'll stream straight to YouTube, I think, as well. So they're an interesting little box to play with. Haven't quite hacked it for a PTT signal yet. I can do that via API, but cannot do it via just a pin input on those. So other than that, you could key up and key down streaming quite easily. Enable it, disable it, whatever you wanted to do. So they look like interesting boxes, potentially hackable, and they're about $80 delivered each without a case. I didn't need a case because it's all in this. The other thing you'll see there, as you might have seen, I think I touched this briefly last week, is infrared. So obviously these set-top boxes, if you've got two in the same box, a bit of a problem with trying to point a remote at them. So there's actually switches on the front of this box. So most of the time I have the IR actually completely disabled. So if you've got other GT Media set-top boxes as well, these don't get touched. You're effectively just leaving them locked into what they're doing. Up the top, analog out. So I wanted to have just an analog audio output just to monitor things. Last Friday we had a bit of an audio glitch, so it'd be good to actually monitor the output of the repeater as well whilst you're transmitting. So that'll let me do that. Unfortunately, I broke the switch, so I've got to get some new switches before I can actually do that one. What else on here do I need to explain? That's about it. The splitters are powered. There's two USB sockets on the GT Medias, so one of them I'll just use for power, for the 5 volts for the splitters. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and I only had space in the case for one DVB-S input. So set-top box 2 is DVB-S, set-top box 1 is doing our COS signal. So this is what it ended up looking like. I've actually covered that hole. I should have taken a new picture. You'll see it in the video coming up. That hole has now got another cover over it, but we've got the USB and HDMI on the fronts that are nice and convenient. Infrared is that little grey box you can see on the front there, and the infrared switches in our COS light there. So, and similar on the back, got a couple of STB HDMI outputs, one for each RTV channel, our DVB-S, our 2 network connections for our streamers, and the DVB-T 445.5 input. So all fits into a nice little 1U rack case. I think I've had that for about 15 years. It's finally had a use case. And here's the mess inside it. So effectively this is what was strewn across my desk for the last year. So yeah, still messy. Trying to find cables that are the right length to actually put in something like this is really tricky. But I think I did a reasonable good job here. Little like 30 centimeter HDMI leads. And I custom made the compression F connectors for all the RF components, so I made those as appropriate as I could to try and keep the bend radiuses down, and the Ethernet cables as well, nice short little cables as short as I can get that would work. So it looks like a bit of a mess. It is all insulated well. It's got standoffs underneath the set-top boxes. I've actually taken off the cases off those HDMI splitters as well. The top was just pushing a little bit down onto them, and just to prevent any flex on the actual set-top box boards, just wanted to take them out of the case, and again they're insulated well enough in there so they're not going to short out at all. This is the infrared on the front, so I'm sure everyone's seen the little infrared sensors that are in your set-top boxes if you've pulled one apart that's broken at one point. So I just designed up this little 3D printed bit that just push fits in, and that's the actual infrared sensor receiver sitting in there. So it needs power, ground obviously, and signal out, and that goes to the 2 switches to switch that IR signal on and off to each set-top box. So that's what there. And there's the big showpiece that I'll show you in a second, the video of, but actually getting the working COS light on the GT Media boxes. Similar to what Peter was doing, but it's not a pulse. I spoke about this last week, I think, as well, and touching base on the same things again. But it's actually a data stream like I2C, and one of the bits in the byte of data in that is actually the carrier signal. So I'm using the little Atmega a tiny 85 to do that job. I made a couple of tweaks last week. It wasn't working quite right. I think within 3 or 4 hours I had that resolved. It's been rock solid the last week I've been watching this, so it works really, really well. And that's everything installed. My transmitter sitting on top, the receiver's all underneath, so it's a nice neat setup now. All the cables are hidden behind, makes it really neat and simple. So it's my little ATV corner in my shack. So really happy with how that's come out, and I've now got a heap of desk space next to me. So I can actually start working on some other projects. What I'll just do now though is, this is a little demo of the COS light. I'll just flick over and play this video for, I think it goes for about 1.5 minutes. Let's go. Okay, a bit of a demo of the new GT Media COS light. Here's my ATV receiver that I've just recently built with our COS light on the front. On this monitor we've got my modulator input, my output demodulated, and then RTV 1 and 2 on the top 2 left and right. So you can see there's nothing being transmitted, no signal. COS light's off. If I just go and turn on my transmitter, give it a second, and we should see, we'll zoom in on RTV 2 and the COS light. Bang, comes straight up, and you can see my signal's up. Now if I go I actually think the audio is not coming through for everyone, but hopefully everyone's seen what's going on there. The RTV is still transmitting, so our COS light is still on, but once RTV times out, you'll see the COS light goes off immediately. Wait for the time but yeah, that was good. I enjoyed putting that together. I'm just going to stop the audio because I don't think that was coming through. But yeah, so it goes off pretty quickly. It all works quite well. You were? Okay. Anyway, all good. So that's that. What else did I have? I think that was all I wanted to do today. I do have what I do have here. If anyone does want them, I've got 2 empty GT Media V7 Pro boxes. empty apart from the power switch, so if anyone's interested in those for a project, let me know on that one. But yeah, obviously I want to fix the audio output, get the socket on the back of that receiver. Otherwise it's good to go. All the code, how to do it, how to program the Atmega 85s, little At-Tiny, sorry, not Atmegas. Atmega's the big one, these are tiny. The At-Tiny 85s, again, is all on my blog. It's posted on the Amateur TV Discord as well, so if you want to follow that, program a couple of those up. And all it is, it all runs at 5 volts. So it's literally just a 5 volt TTL output, and all you need is some wires and the At-Tiny 85 chip. There is no other associated components you need if you want to just solder it all straight up. So that, yeah, super simple. I just wish I could get the streamers to key up with just an input as well. So more to work on there. But that's me for this week. I have got some other projects. I've been doing lots the last couple of weeks on amateur radio bits and pieces, so hopefully some more projects either next week or the week after. But hopefully that keeps everyone occupied. Please go and check that out. Any feedback and things like that, let me know. But yes, that Coslight works really well, and I know a lot of us use those GT Media set-top boxes. It's come in really handy. It just it catches my eye at the corner, so when something's actually being transmitted, makes it so much easier. So alright, that's me for the week. I think we're changing back to VK3RTV 2, back to, yeah, see you later. Catch you later.
Right, thanks for that, Steve, and that's good work, really good work. And I have a buzzer when I'm on the other side of the house. When someone comes up on the repeater, it just goes beep 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 beep, and I come in and have a look to see who's on. So that's the way I do it. I'm using a GT Hello box. I've got a Hello box with a key line out that Peter kindly modified for me, and also fans. Oh, I hate fan noise. I'm sure most people do. And yeah, I've done a lot of those mods as well with the fans. So it's nice having a quiet shack. As you can hear, there's probably not much fan noise, although where the microphone is the fan for the DVB-T linear, so you may hear that in my transmission just in the background. So Mick, if you're ready, I forgot to mention that Mick's up next. Also forgot to mention, it's too late, that Richard VK3VRS is running the YouTube feed and also the Discord feed, or you can watch it via RF through a set-top box. So Mick, if you're ready, I'm on T, so you should be able to switch across very nicely onto T. But because you're using T, I'm using T, and then back to me, Mick. So take it away. Oh, wrong button. Take it away, Mick.
Yes, you're correct. Actually, wow, it didn't change over. So there you go. Oh, I don't really have a heck of a lot to say. There was a mad schedule for this Sunday, but I was looking at the weather, and the wind speed for Kinglake was looking pretty crazy. And I remember the other time I went out there when the wind speed was pretty rough. Car door. Now, I don't know if it's frozen up or not. You're alright. I don't think there's... Alright, we'll keep going. Yeah, so when I was out there, the just opening up the car door against the wind and trying to get out of the car when I was setting up that time when my stuff fell over, and now I've got it screwed onto the roof, so that would be okay, but I thought you know, it wouldn't be very pleasant for the operator, so I didn't bother going last Sunday. But I suppose Melbourne's pretty good, you know, if they wanted to put a microwave ad hoc on, you know, if you give about a week's notice or half a week's notice, you'll usually find a few people, so that's alright. Neil, you reckon you're going to talk about something you've been doing on 5.7 gig. I'll watch that with interest. We've got finished our 5.7 gig stuff, and about a week from now I'll be putting out the newsletter, so pretty much nearly everyone that's on the amateur television on net, I think, get a copy of that. 54 pages, I think. So yeah, some of that will be about the new 5.7 gig thing I made up. Alright, that's about all I've got really. So yep, until next week, catch us later. So VK3CH closing, I think Neil, you're taking it back. So I suppose if you hit your transmit button, it'll be in a smooth changeover. Cheers all.
Right, thanks Mick. I haven't really got too much more to say about the 5.7. It is up and running, but the antenna hasn't been raised yet. I've got a couple of very, very large trees on the nature strip at the back of my house. My house backs up to a semi-major road, and there's two huge trees that the council have decided to remove at my request, seeing they're dying and branches have been falling off. So the problem is my antennas are fairly close to where all the branches are hanging over my property, so I'm going to be lowering them, including the 5.7, which hasn't been raised yet, because when they start lopping the trees down, there's a very good chance that they may fall onto my property, although I'm sure they'll try very hard not to do that. So if I raise the antenna up, the branches may hit the guy wires and pull the antenna down, which won't be fun. So that's all I've really got to say about the 5.7. I've worked 3FS, 3KRD and 3, who else have I worked? A few other stations whose call signs elude me at the moment, but I have been able to work stations very, very weakly with the antennas up about maybe 15 feet or something. So as you can imagine, 5.7 is very challenging at a base, as a home station. That's all we have for tonight. We've got 14 watching on YouTube, so that's good. So we'll see you all next week, and hopefully my antennas won't fall down tomorrow. So cheers guys, we'll see you all next week. Bye.